Rebuilding a model steam plant, part 21. In this episode I will be fitting the water gauge, check valve, safety valve, steam tap and pressure gauge siphon. Plus working out the best size of boiler that I will be using and the corresponding size of the horizontal condenser tank that I intend to fit to the steam plant. I'll explain why there may be a change of plan at the end of the video. But for now I'm assembling the Stuart 501 boiler, which is a perfect size for the two engines fitted to the plant. In the previous episode of this series I showed these clips. And here's the top part of the water gauge fitting loosely in place. In this clip I've also noticed that I missed some of the paint, so I need to get my rotary wire brush out for this. I'll do that off camera. For now I want to show how to fit a water gauge. I've done this many times before, but each time it's slightly different. To level up the positions of the fittings I'm using shim washers. I'm using 2 on the lower fitting and 1 on the top fitting. And now is the time to align the top and bottom fittings. I was lucky. I found a piece of water gauge glass in my box of water gauge glasses, and it's exactly the right diameter and length. I get quite a lot of messages from viewers who obviously know a lot more about this subject than I do, and they tell me to use a piece of steel bar instead of the glass to align the fitting. This is not a good idea. I use the glass, and if I break the glass, then it's not in line. It's all a case of feel, and what the glass feels like in the gauge is of paramount importance. This was a fiddly job because the O-rings I was using were slightly too thick. A quick rummage through my box of O-rings provided me with 2 that were the right size. However, they did need a bit of help to go into the water gauge nuts. I think I prefer the old-fashioned method of using 2 pieces of silicone rubber tubing instead of these round section O-rings. But anyway, after a while everything fitted perfectly. And don't over-tighten the nuts that hold the O-rings in place. Otherwise you will break the glass. In this clip I'm fitting the top cap, and that's this job done, except for removing the small amount of black paint that I missed. Because I took my time to make sure that the glass was aligned in both of the fittings, I would think everything should be okay. Don't forget these parts expand and contract with the boiler when it's in steam or not in steam. But the glass is a fixed constant that does not expand or contract. That's why it's really important to make sure you get the glass perfectly aligned in the gauge. Now it's time to fit the check valve, also known as a clack valve, in the hole at the bottom of the boiler. This doesn't need a washer, it was a perfect fit as it was. I just applied some Loctite 542 to seal the threads. Now it's time to move to the top of the boiler backhead to fit the pressure gauge siphon. This uses what's known as a banjo union. And although you don't need it, I am applying a very small amount of Loctite 542, being very careful not to block the hole up. All I have to do now with this modified bolt is just bolt the siphon to the bush. You don't really need the pressure gauge fitting at this stage, but for the purposes of the video I'm holding it in my hand to make the image more interesting to look at. This part needs to be quite tight to seal, but in common with almost all miniature steam fittings it does not want to be so tight that it shears off. That is the backhead complete. I'm now going to move to the top of the boiler to fit the safety valve and the steam tap. Once again I'm using a very small amount of Loctite 542 on the safety valve, and just for a change I'm using a genuine Stuart aluminium washer. I really don't like these, I prefer copper washers, but I don't have any the right size where I am at the moment. I'm in my second workshop built onto the house. Once again I've used some more Loctite 542 on the steam taps thread, and it seems to fit very well without a washer. I performed a hydraulic test on this boiler a while back, so I can connect the airline to it with confidence, knowing that it's not going to go bang when I put some pressure in it. During the hydraulic test I pressurised this boiler to 130 psi, pounds per square inch, which is just over twice its working pressure of 60 pounds per square inch. I let the air into the boiler slowly until the pressure gauge displayed 60 psi. At this point the safety valve did not blow off, so this will need adjustment before the steam test. Here's the boiler in its approximate intended position on the steam plant, and in my opinion this is quite in scale with the two engines. This is a Stuart 504 boiler, which is much bigger, and I was going to use this originally when I was thinking of fitting larger engines to this plant, but then the whole thing would become too heavy. Even though it's not finished, this steam plant has been sold to one of my Patreon supporters. When I was speaking to him on the phone the other day, he did mention that he wanted to run a twin Victoria from this boiler as well. But he did say not at the same time as the other two engines on the board. To be honest, a 501 boiler is really not suitable for a twin Victoria. It would handle a single Victoria. He doesn't want to mount the twin Victoria on the existing board. Instead, it will sit on the table at the side of this plant. This is a piece of brass tube, and if I use the 501 boiler, I'm going to use this brass tube to make a horizontal condenser. But if the new owner is considering running a twin Victoria, the condenser needs to be a lot bigger. I think I need to speak to him again on the phone and discuss the possibilities. The condenser will not be the full length of this copper tube, but even so, it needs to have a good capacity for water being condensed from the exhaust of a twin Victoria. So there's some food for thought there, and that's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.